Thank you. You will always have an angel at your side. Sweet, that's so special, sweet. Thank you. Hi, I'm Danielle Jacobs, Boschnell Cap Classique winemaker. What initially got me interested in wine was the stories that my uncle told. I was still a youngster then, only 11 years old, but this just, it piqued my interest, sounded very romantic and lovely. And then as time progressed and I went further in my educational process, I realized the science and the hard work required to actually make wine. And funny enough, it actually made me only more interested in becoming a winemaker. One of the first productions I worked with was Cap Classique, and just the process itself, it's delicate but so rewarding. When you taste the bubblies with clients or with consumers, with people in the industry, they just appreciate a good glass of bubbles. So it's always nice to know you had a hand in something that was such a timely process, but highly rewarding. Boschnell was part of the first participants in the Cap Classique Association that was established in 1992, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of the oldest farms in the Cape Winelands. It was established in 1685. Boschnell is also a WWF champion, which just means that not only in terms of quality, but also the ethics and the value added to the people involved in the production. So that you know at the end of the day, when you taste that wine in your glass, that it comes from a good place where the people were treated well and that where nature was treated well as well. So the first wine we are tasting is the Boschnell Brut Non-Vintage. And this wine just really for me brings such lushness and opulence. It just brings in good memories. So it's something you enjoy with friends or by yourself. And it's a wine that just over-delivers in every way. So on the nose, you get a lot of lush, rich fruit. You get some of that creaminess, some of that slight. So that time on lees, you get some of that biscuity aroma, that biscotti, a bit of that kind of almond coming through. And then also one of the characteristics I always find on non-vintage is a bit of gooseberry. And then on the palate, you get that slight sweetness coming through, so it's not completely dry. And then again, just that creaminess on the palate, that filling mouthfeel, that lushness from the mousse, that bubble sensation on the palate. And then at the finish, you get nice length, so it's a wine that you can enjoy with food as well, but is always lovely by itself. The one thing that you do differently with tasting a bubbly or Cap Classique is usually you don't swirl the glass. So with the still wine, you'll just have the little sniff, swirl and sniff, where with the bubbly, you don't really swirl the glass just because of that CO2 that comes out of the glass already. It already releases those flavors and those aromas. So wine tasting, because it is a personal experience, it's your memories and your own taste that you do identify within a wine. So I think that the wines are unique, so what you find in a glass will also be unique to what you taste. So in terms of a bit of the technicalities on the wine, this is a Chardonnay Pinot Noir blend, predominantly Chardonnay, about 60-40% Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. And this wine has a minimum time on lease of 12 months. But between the time of filling and then riddling and disgorging the wine, our average on our non-vintage is actually around 16 to 18 months before release. So again, that just helps with the development of the creamy and biscuity flavors on the wine and just gives a bit of complexity to the wine as well. So this is our Boschnal Grand Cuvée. This is a vintage Cap Classique wine. This is our 2014 vintage. So this wine underwent a minimum time on lease of 3 years. So with that, it has just a more developed and complexity with those creamy and biscuity aromas. And this wine, again, we blend it because we want something that is fresh and approachable for people, especially new consumers or new people trying to taste Cap Classique or see where they find a preference with styles. But this wine, in terms of the Boschnal style, we try and stay true to keeping it fresh, fresher styles, fruity, floral, approachable, something that what you find on the nose, those floral aromas, that slight biscuitiness, that really carries through to what you taste on the wine, and that kind of lingering aftertaste as well. The time on lease on a Cap Classique, it just adds to the complexity of a wine. So with a Cap Classique, it is a secondary fermentation wine, so it undergoes second fermentation in bottle, and that actually produces the bubbly and that mousse frothiness on the wine that you find when you taste Cap Classiques. So Cap Classique is a wine that is enjoyed throughout the year, but it is a wine that is slightly more approachable in summertime, with it being fresh and having that extra bit of pop. And then this wine, in terms of food pairings, it's always nice with oysters. So again, at the beach, on the coast in summer, but also with dessert. So one dessert that I love pairing with a Cap Classique is a creme brulee. That creaminess from the mousse sensation on the palate just carries through, and then with creme brulee as well, that creaminess, that caramelized sugar is really something that is a special pairing. But sometimes with wine and food pairings as well, sometimes it's nice to pair the wine with a food that has a similar base. So a creamy Chardonnay with a creamy pasta dish. However, what I've found to be quite nice is when you actually contrast that a bit. So if you have a creamy dish, you actually want it with a wine that is slightly more acidic, because that then cuts through that creamy dish. And with the bubbly as well, it has the balance between acid and opulence, which is something that makes it so diverse for food pairings. So from Boschnal, from our winemaking team, we hope that everyone has an amazing festive season and that 2021 will be a bottle of bubbly for you all. Cheers.